It's 7 o'clock, and I'm going to call the regular meeting of the Pownal Planning Commission, Tuesday, April 19th, to order. We'll begin by approving the approval of the minutes for this meeting. Any additions, corrections?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes.
I mean, the
agenda?
agenda.
I'll make
That's
a
it.
motion that we approve the agenda.
A second.
Okay. I'd like to add, or before we vote on it, I'd like to add in other business some follow-ups from last meeting.
Sure.
And that is to look at, revisit the rules and procedures and see if we want to make some corrections, updates to that. And I'd also like to comment on an activity that was community-based, a cleanup of Indian Massacre
You
Road.
do that under public comment?
I could do it under public comment, or I could do it under other business. Public comment maybe is best.
Oh, unless it pertains to the planning commission, then
Well-
you can certainly do it under other business.
I think it pertains to the planning commission.
Right.
so-
Okay.
Okay.
Makes me want it.
Then I'll make a motion with the amended agenda
Okay.
to approve.
Is there a second on the altered agenda?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Opposed? Okay.
Julie,
Uh.
excuse me, could I have that, please? Thank you very much.
There you
Well, I
go.
was going like this, and
Oh,
Wasn't
know.
there?
it wasn't there.
okay. Approval of the regular minutes from last week or last month. Those minutes are not available for our review today because there's been some work being done on the computer here at the office, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
I lost
and
them.
so we, the minutes will have to be found or rewritten, and so we'll review both of those next month at our regular meeting on, so we'll table that, is that,
Oh my-
Sure.
oh my goodness.
okay? All right, I think we have a lot of mail.
Actually,
Or
we
not
actually
mu-
really don't have a lot
Okay.
of mail. I emailed everybody the VLCT number 16 news thing. And I was just looking to see what else I emailed, because I know that I've been emailing everybody. So, and then the other thing we have is the BCRC minutes I emailed, because there were so many pages to that.
And also an invitation to their annual,
Yep, this one. So the BCRC annual meeting is Thursday, May 21st at 5 p.m. at the Mount Anthony Country Club. Oh, and then I have the BCRC news and notes for May 2015, which I believe I emailed you guys because it was easier. Then I have the VLCT is doing a spring planning and zoning forum Wednesday, June 10th at Lake Maury Resort in Fairleigh, Vermont. And then I got an email from Michael Batcher, which is at BCRC, on the, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, hazard mitigation plan.
okay?
He wants us to work on that, but I know Linda and Casey were working on that. And then part of our training that when we were in Killington, we talked about that in our flood section. So which, that folder is not organized at the moment, so. But when we do our work session, I'll have it all ready for us for our
Rick, there's
packets.
two down here.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
So that's the mail I have.
Okay, and I think we probably should add to just the record of the mail that we received from Natalie, from Landworks, in terms of our plan. Is that something that we should include in these minutes, I would think, or in the record of this meeting? And those
No,
get forwarded to
Those
you?
I already did in our last, when she did the mail for when she came to our meeting.
And she
I
sent the
had
town
already-
plans?
Yes, I had made that note in our minutes
Okay, and then.
already, so
Okay.
I hadn't gotten anything newer yet
Okay.
for this month.
And she sent, she is gonna be sending me the minutes, or the notices, and then I'll forward them. And
Yes.
I think probably one that was not included in that was, I had sent her requesting some information in terms of what other towns are doing in terms of solar. And she sent that, and I think I forwarded that to the members.
Yep.
And so as I get those, I will forward them. And Ron and Peter, do you now get the email things? We have
Julie
emails
sends
for
them
you.
to my wife.
Okay, but the address
get
that's
email.
on this sheet, that's on the list that we got, the revised list we got today, it's sent to this email?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yep.
because I just want to make sure
Yep.
everybody's getting everything. Okay. Any questions on the mail? Okay,
none.
You should make note that one of the things she sent out was the Vermont Community Development,
the report,
the report,
yeah, okay,
just so that they know, because that was one of the things we asked for last time.
right.
Is there not
That,
community report?
it was the Vermont Rural Development Community Report on their visit to Pownal a number of years ago.
Okay.
And that has a number of ideas in it that, you know, would be pertinent to some of
So
the
you,
things we'll be looking
you
at.
sent it to us?
I forwarded that, I think, to everybody. Did I? You got that one, okay.
Okay.
All right,
The-
okay, and,
At some point, I don't know if you want to talk about that report now or later. All I would say is that there was committees that was there, and there's people, names and emails. As the board is working on the plan, if there's sections like economic development or other, you might want to reach out to the people that were on those committees and see if
Right.
they won't come in
right,
to say what was done. Because that gives you information out of there.
right. Okay. Any other comments? Okay, we have two guests that have arrived, so, I don't know if you're here to make a comment to the board or just listening in.
No,
Okay.
just listen.
But you wanna just introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Rebecca Dragon. I live over on 346, but for 4 years prior to that, I was over on Quarry Hill Road.
Okay,
I'm Melissa Collins. I just moved here on 346 as well.
okay, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so you don't wanna make a public comment, that's the next thing on the agenda.
No.
Okay.
I'm just listening.
Other business, you wanna do the zoning administrator's monthly log?
Wait, give me 1 second.
Okay,
I got it.
We're waiting. We gotta put Nelson on hold here for a minute.
That's okay.
Yes, because he has a storybook.
oh,
Okay.
Okay. Basically, we had a number, you're the guys that gave me this application to fill out, this report. 8 applications were, and the number accepted was 8, and then one of them was withdrawn by the individual. Number of permits granted was 7, 3 for garage, the medical center, porch and a house, and then one was, went to the DRB, which was the track. The DRB approved the music track on 4/26 is when I signed the permit. Miscellaneous calls from the realtors, contractors on what can be done. Call related to garbage piled up on a property, passed that on to Jim. He's been working with them, it's out on Jackson Cross Road, trying to get them to clean up, they got burning barrels and a whole bunch of other stuff out there. Check on 2 additions for garages, permits were, yeah, I stopped in to see a couple of people who had foundations, but they did not have construction underway, and all of a sudden there was lumbers and stuff, and I got called about people building stuff. And I went out and looked, one permit was issued in 2007, the other one was issued in 2013 for these things. That basically what happens is as long as they start it, there is no finish date on their permit.
That's right.
They had started, so
By virtue
I
of
would-
having the concrete in.
so I was out there beating up who was there, but one of them drove up to my house when he got home and let me know he had his permit.
oh,
And I checked and they did both have permits, so.
Good.
But that's,
okay,
Doesn't hurt to ask, though,
no,
does
it
it?
doesn't.
okay.
A question, the permits for the racetrack for the music, is that a permit that they will put in every time they want to have a weekend?
At this point, they have made it clear that this was a single permit for a single event and that they would be back. Now, that doesn't mean at a future date they might change their approach to that, but at this time, that's what they were. So if they hold another one after this one, they have to come in for another permit.
Is there any protocol for what they, whether they need to do that, or they can just file one permit for as many as they want, or how that works?
If they all of a sudden make the place a music venue,
Mm-hmm,
then they could come in and apply for a permit for a music venue and permanent type things, then they would apply like anybody does for a business. And it would be a one-time.
it would be a 250, Act 250 type of
I don't know if
situation?
it is or not.
Mhm.
That's something that we'd have to check at that time and they'd have to check with.
Okay.
You probably wanna see how it goes, right,
Mhm,
first.
mhm.
Yeah,
Just
before
do one.
they go,
Right.
there's a lot of unanswered questions. There's a number of conditions that are put on the permit. I haven't seen the list yet, but basically there's a number of them. And they're gonna do some testing and see how it goes, and I think that's the right approach for both them and the town.
Mhm.
Let's face it, in the past, we never asked people to get permits for these music festivals that have been held there, or motorcycle events and circuses and everything under the sun. So this was a test for the town in asking for a permit. I think the people that came did the right thing by applying for the permit and going the process versus saying, hey, you've been doing this for years and you haven't ever issued a permit, why are we issuing it now?
Mhm.
So I think the people are trying to work with the town, and I think, from what I saw presented at the hearing, I think they went and got tons of information and brought it in. And I hope that they do as well a job in monitoring when the music event is going on and seeing
Times,
how things
decibels.
happening, between traffic, noise, and all the rest. Because if they do, they'll bring that back and report it the next time they ask for a permit.
You know, I always took it to be just a feeling out process for this concert here, just to feel
Yeah,
out
sure.
and then ask everybody, you know, how things went, what we can change,
Yep.
you know.
On
so
both
these-
sides.
So these venues, if more are in the future, everyone will be happy.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Okay,
Did that answer your
Oh,
question?
no, it doesn't.
I
Thank you,
remembered
Nelson.
one more thing in the
Yes.
mail that I had emailed you guys. The ceremony at the,
right, I was just gonna mention
Right.
that.
okay,
For the clinic.
Yep, and that's tomorrow at
tomorrow
10.
at 10.
Okay, and I think
That's
all
the
are
official
welcome. That's-
groundbreaking.
It's
Yes.
the cornerstone
Cornerstone.
lake.
Cornerstone.
Yeah.
Yes,
So they've already broken
Already broke
ground,
ground,
yeah.
that's right, they've been
Yeah,
working
yeah,
down there.
they've been working there.
the sign looks nice.
Okay. Okay, if we want to take out the policies, the rules and
That's all for
procedures.
this.
What?
Oh, I'm impressed.
Yeah, if you want a little bit of background,
Okay.
turn back the clock to 2008 when things were decidedly different on this planning commission. I was chairperson at the time. Attendance was sporadic.
You don't have one? Do you have another one?
Oh, I thought
I
you
have
just,
an extra, somebody gave me an extra.
Okay, good.
No, did you, Jim, give me an extra?
here's one.
Well, we sure. Yeah.
I'll pass this one around anyway. So.
Yeah.
You know what I have in here, Nelson? I have the DRB's rules of procedure.
Okay, let's stay on
Okay.
topic here.
All right,
We're on the planning at this point.
I'm sorry. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that slipped out.
Well, we
but
can't change the DRB
there was-
rules and procedures.
We can't, so. So attendance was sporadic with certain members. There were some problems in conducting an orderly meeting. There were people that will remain unnamed that I personally found very disruptive. They were here with their own agenda and certainly not the overall agenda of the planning commission. They weren't interested in anything else that we did. So with Nelson's help, and I believe at that time we may have even consulted Pete Holden on this, we found that the VLTC and several other agencies had protocol for rules of procedure to follow. And after one or two meetings, we narrowed it down and adopted these rules of procedure. And then the board changed and things ran quite smoothly for a while. And I think they still will, but the size of this commission now, I think it's a good time to review this.
Yeah. And I think too, going into the town plan, we're gonna be holding public meetings and all, and so it's good to have
A good
a
understanding.
good understanding, yeah, ahead of time. And so it's basically in order to provide for smooth operations and efficient meetings, and providing a climate in which everybody can be heard and has the expectation of being heard,
Absolutely.
listened to, and keeping it on a civil tone. So
Absolutely.
what I did to try to facilitate this discussion, since we had said we were gonna do this, is I went through it and I made some suggested changes that I passed around earlier.
Oh, this is here, right? This is what you
This is,
I have
yeah,
one?
yeah,
gave us here.
and I can send you an electronic copy.
No, that's okay.
And-
Oh, the attendance policy
Yeah.
changed.
And I did
You
it
have a
just
spare?
with,
Yeah, they were all here in the middle, here.
yeah.
You got them. If you pulled what
Oh,
was in front of you.
It's what I passed around just before the meeting, Peter.
Oh, maybe you didn't get it.
No, we didn't.
No, you didn't get it. The
Oh.
spare?
I don't know, I did
I
10
think I'll make a
copies.
copy.
I made
Would you
10
go
copies.
for a coffee
so
or something when
there's
that
something.
stuff is being passed around?
Okay.
I'll go make two.
Do you have two of them? Yeah, you have two. Here's another one.
Wait.
You have
Do I have
three
the
in your, you have
attendance
4 in your hands.
policy?
You never passed them on.
Oh,
Thanks, Mike.
I thought these were on
You-
different
you
sections.
passed the pictures from the camera.
Ronnie, did you get one?
There
see?
we go.
See, I gave Ron one.
Okay.
We know who counts.
Okay.
I thought they were on 3 different sections.
Oh,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no.
Oh,
Okay.
there we go.
No, you didn't.
All right. Okay, so what
Why
I
isn't this
did,
surprising
and there's
anyway?
nothing,
Look at it.
you know, it was just ideas to facilitate the discussion.
I got them, Julie.
But I
have
looked
them all.
at section 1, the meetings, and I just thought we need to update them, so we should change that it meets at 7 and not 6.
Absolutely.
Okay, and
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 I don't think we need to put in our second meeting because that's more
That's a
of a
work
work
meeting,
meeting.
right.
And that the
it's
public
only
will
a
be
couple.
warned. This is
Right.
our regular meeting. That's all we really have to
Right.
talk about here.
And I removed the various places and just said the meetings are posted at and listed the 4 places they're posted.
Actually,
What?
we don't post at the Peaceful Valley because they're never open when
Okay,
I always
so then
had
we
to
should
do it.
remove that.
So I've never,
Okay,
it doesn't go there.
okay.
Do you
So
post
so-
any place new other than Winchester's and Village Market?
in the town
Stewart's.
office?
Stewart's?
No, and it's not the Village Market anymore, it's Village Tilly,
Okay.
yeah,
All right,
it
will
has
you
a
change
name.
that?
Yeah, would you check the name?
Yes.
And do we need to post it somewhere else other than the town office, the new Village Market and
Alright, so the meetings
Winchester's,
are
maybe
at
the
the
American
following
Legion?
places.
Huh?
No, the
Meetings are
meetings are
posted.
posted at
Post office.
Winchester's, Village,
I don't know if the
Village
post office
Market,
structure
whatever it's
calls.
called, and the town office.
Well, there's a lot of stuff on that board down there in North Pownell.
I know, some do,
Okay.
some don't. It's-
What?
Whether we can
Post
post in a
Okay, and let me ask you the other question. Is there an idea of when the town website will be up and running?
I think they're still working.
You know, Rich did something to see that something was paid for, and that's the last I heard from Rich on that.
Okay.
So I would suggest that once once the website is up and running, we post it there also.
Yeah, that hasn't been a topic of the select board meeting in a while,
Okay,
so.
well, they've got other things on their plate. Okay, so I think it might be most efficient to just run through these one section at a time. So.
I agree.
Are people in agreement with the changes made on Article 1? Or does anybody have other suggested
are.
changes?
Do you want to include it on the website when it is up and running, or just disregard it and put it in when it's up and running?
Oh,
What
I
is-
don't
what
know.
is-
I would
I-
just leave it
I
out
would-
for now and
Leave it
amend
out
it
for now.
later.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay,
We're only making
Okay.
9 copies, so it's
Okay.
not that
Yeah.
hard for Julie to
okay.
change that one.
Okay, Article 2 is the attendance of board members, and it basically says that if people are absent for 3 consecutive commission meetings, we have the right to write to the select board to ask them to be removed and replaced. And it gives a list of the excuses, and the only thing I didn't know, it lists from A to F, and I didn't know if we should put something that is clearer, like unable to attend because of primary job responsibilities.
I was gonna
Sorta
bring
like
that
sis.
up, Rose.
You were?
Because the
Okay.
last meeting, I was telling Jimmy,
Mm-hmm.
it's like 5:30, and I'm down by the Connecticut border on a delivery.
Right, yeah,
No way I'm gonna make it,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and I can't give you 24-hour notice,
right,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's not gonna happen 3 consecutive months
Right,
in a
yeah,
row,
uh-huh.
but, I mean, that time did come up.
And, you know, we don't necessarily have to put it, because the next paragraph says the commission may also excuse absences in cases where they make a finding that an unusual hardship justifies excusing an absence. It would have been a large hardship for you to get back here in that amount of time.
With
Like
all
it
was
these
beyond your
speeding
control.
tickets, yeah.
What I see here,
Uh-huh.
I know that the intent back then
Uh-huh.
was a little different than what I think we're trying to do today. But, you know, serious family emergencies or hardships, I think of anniversaries, birthdays, other things that come up
Well, that's covered in that paragraph.
in the last one.
In the
But
last
it
paragraph.
should be clear that they're reasonable excuses.
Yeah, okay.
We know what the intent of this is. If people aren't showing up, or they're very sporadic at showing up and they don't have an excuse, then their heart's probably not in this and they should step down or be removed.
It's just questioning the
That's all.
seriousness.
Seriousness, yeah.
That's
Uh-huh,
all, yeah.
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 So
and,
should we
you
just
know,
leave it as it is because it
I
covers enough?
think so, because
Okay.
we know what the intent is, and I think that's the point.
Okay, is Article 2 okay left as is?
All right, I'm fine with that. We'll give you a motion at the end of it, right, when we get through everything?
Right, we'll do the
As
whole thing,
discussed,
but I'm just,
we'll make a motion.
okay. Article 3, ground rules, had 11 pieces, so if you want to take a moment, I sort of condensed them into 7.
It's kind of like narrowing down the 10 Commandments, you know?
I know. But I'm willing to tackle almost impossible jobs.
George Carlin did that before he
Okay.
died. He got it down to 1.
And what
Now-
was it?
Oh, we can't talk about that.
And one of the things might be difficult for us, I mean, we've become very informal in how we conduct these meetings and we just sort of talk to each other. You know, one of the things that was in there, and it does go for more efficient meetings, especially since it's televised, is that members of the public and the commission speak only after being recognized by the chair. And that makes it a little,
Now,
Turn all cell phones
Turn all
off,
cell
number
phones
12.
Number 5,
no cell phone.
number 5, you left out the word be heard. It
Oh.
would be,
When a person has the floor, they can expect to, yes, be heard. Okay,
Number 5.
yeah,
Not on that page, on your other.
on
page.
my
A
edition.
suggestion.
On the
On
new
this
sheet.
page.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, which now I've lost.
now
passed
you're giving
all
them
of
all away?
Here, you have one?
Yeah, he's got
He's
All
got
right.
one.
Okay.
So we're okay with the, when you recognize the public, that
Like,
they speak for 3 minutes. At the end of the 3, and we did this simply, that was my idea because of we have 80 people in here, believe it or not, with the Beaverwood thing. And so we just couldn't turn it into a free-for-all.
Yeah.
So we give people 3 minutes to speak, and then the board would comment, or the commission would comment, or say, we'll take it under advisement. Before that person could speak again, it was somebody else's turn. I think that was critical. There was no more retort, there was no
Right.
more give and take between the chairman and everything. We've also had times in here when people were in here with an agenda and they wanted to direct it toward certain commission members, and that's why I thought best to direct it.
to the chair, yeah.
Right. So that's the reason for those, and I think they're good reasons.
But it's a common practice too. in
It is a
public
common
meetings, yes.
practice, and that, it came out of rules that were already written.
Okay. Nelson?
Yeah, the one thing, the select board has similar rules, but the one thing that they have added to that rule is that if the commission wishes to, by majority, to have that person speak again, or speak longer than the 3 minutes, it's done by the board. And
Okay, as opposed to here, I have it just that the chair has that discretion.
Yeah, because you might find that the chair doesn't have,
Okay.
there is a majority of the board that
Okay,
wishes to
yeah,
hear more.
okay.
And that's just
At the
suggestion.
discretion of a majority of the board.
So you guys actually stop, you have this rule, 3 minutes. The guy exhausts his 3 minutes, you guys kind of huddle up and ask for a motion as to whether he can continue to speak. Is that
Usually
you're
what I
saying?
did as a chair was I'd ask them if they wished to hear more or not hear more, the board. And the board at that point made a decision whether to continue or not continue with that discussion.
You would state the procedure to the person who was speaking.
They're posted and they.
Say,
they
give
know-
us a second here, we gotta figure out whether they're gonna let you continue
No,
talking.
they wish to speak more, and we can either say that as a chair, you've had your 3 minutes,
Okay.
you're done. And then I could listen to the board say, hey, this person's talking about something I wanna hear. So I'm just,
Okay,
because
Yeah.
you might only have one person that comes,
right,
and you might wanna hear more than 3 minutes.
Which we generally do, and that's
Yeah.
why I think the discretion of the chairperson is
but
fine.
the majority of the board might be just as well to move things along.
Okay.
Okay, and any other comments on that?
What'd you eliminate?
I combined some
Oh,
things.
okay.
So, for example, number 4 combines 2 things, and I think number 1 I combined, I just sort of,
Yeah, I think these are great. I like them.
any other comments? Okay,
We have an official timekeeper?
we will,
Secretary.
the secretary, and there are.
Julie used
there
to
are-
time
3
him.
minutes is a long time.
She used
It
to-
is.
Long time.
Yeah, you
Oh,
you
yeah.
can say a
Long
lot.
You know how
can
you
say a
get
lot.
your 3 minutes are up, you'd see me rolling my eyes or going, seriously?
I think you do that in 1 minute.
I've seen it so
You
many
give-
times.
You give a
They'll
warning.
right there, roll their eyes
And this is gonna be more applicable, I think, when we're holding public hearings
having
or
like
public, presenting some of our
As-
plan
you're right.
and having larger public meetings.
Right.
Which, I do have something about that, afterwards. Okay,
Okay.
Article 4, I didn't think needed any changing.
No?
Article 5, I didn't think needed any changing. Article 6, I think we just need to eliminate, since there are no alternates allowed,
Gone.
and that was it.
God, look at that, Julie, 2008.
There you go.
Where are they now?
So, well,
Who's
the
left?
board is very
No one.
different.
Me and you.
Me and you.
That's it. Yeah, it's a very different board. Okay, so I guess I would entertain a motion to amend the rules of procedures, or to update them effective as of this date with the changes that we've agreed upon.
As discussed, I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
Nice job.
I'd like to make for those of you who aren't aware, on Saturday, two of our local citizens did what I think this Pownal Planning Commission would like to encourage other people to do, which was to see an issue, to look at a way of addressing it, and then pull the community together and work with the town officials to address it. And what happened was Megan Reynolds and Katie Haylett?
Randall,
Uh,
Megan,
Megan
Megan.
It's
Megan Randall, okay, Megan Randall and Katie Haylett, is that how you say it?
I'm not sure how you say
Okay.
Haslett. Hey,
Ha-
I forget.
Is there an S in there?
I forget.
Okay.
Or is he?
But anyhow, both of them put out a broad request. They walk on Indian Massacre Road, they'd seen the vast amount of debris that has been collected there over the years. Did a little bit themselves on Green Up Day and decided to do more. And so they called people together, and they got a really good response. I don't know how many people were there, but I was there from 9 to almost noon, and I'd say there were a good 20 people, a nice
cool.
cross-section, different ages, coming from different parts of the town, different socioeconomic, it was just a real cross-section. People came with equipment, bulldozer, a scoop on a tractor, a number of trucks to haul stuff, and they contacted the transfer station, made arrangements to have everything brought there, and also arranged, I believe, with, I think Casey maybe, to do some trucks to come
Yes,
and
they
pick
did.
up some of the larger items. So it was really a joint effort. They took this initiative. A lot of people responded, and it was phenomenal, the difference it made. I mean, how much trash was pulled out of there, and such good humor in doing it. And I just wanted to give a sort of a shout out to them, because I think that's the kind of citizen initiative that we want to encourage.
Great.
And So, thanks to them.
Could indirectly be part of the town plan, right?
Yeah,
Well,
sort of our own green
We,
up day.
we could, yes.
Well, indirectly meaning that spirit of cooperation, I think
Well,
is
yeah,
part of the
Yeah,
vision.
I think we want to do things that encourage that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, when you look at this, there was a broad brush of various groups that got involved and worked very well together.
Yeah.
There wasn't the bickering or any of the rest in it, and I think it worked out very well. And it was done on a weekend, which in some cases, some of these people that work for the town actually went out and did a little extra
That's
to
neat.
make things happen.
Yeah.
And the town was very conducive to seeing the cleanup and allowing that stuff to go
Right.
to the transfer station. And I would encourage people to do more things like that.
Yeah.
And Megan and I have been in conversations.
Yeah, that was a great initiative.
She was,
So, she's a
Right out.
go-getter, yeah.
that's the word I was gonna use.
She was, 2 days before that, she was up at the quarry, picking garlic mustard, for
Wow.
trying to
for
preserve
her.
that land for, so, actively involved in
No, I
behind the
guess-
scenes.
She is our member for the solid waste on the BCRC, on the Bennington County Regional Commission. And is very much an environmentalist and really wants to see the right thing done with trash and the recycling and the rest. So I think this was one of the things that leads right into what she really enjoys being involved with. And she was just as excited as we are that it was done, to see what was happening and how the town managed that.
Right.
So,
And,
So it
as a
worked for
planning
both.
commission, we have concerns about, the trash and things like that that's around. And some of it that's on private property is handled differently, but this is a real nice, I think, example of what can be done when it's either private property but not that person's and they're willing to cooperate, or it's
That's the
public.
touchy thing.
That was- yeah.
When it's on somebody's private
Right.
property, you don't want to insult somebody. What you think is trash might be their
Yeah.
most prized
Right.
heirloom, whether it's a couch
Well,
on
I-
the front lawn or
I say
whatever.
the road's a public road, right?
But
Well,
all,
but
all the
that's John
property
McMahon.
was-
Right away.
There's,
Okay,
yeah, he
so-
was there.
McMahon.
He was glad to have that.
There was McMahon's, there's Dickinson's, there's a number of people that own along that road. And I don't know who bought the other side of the road that has the camp there now. Ronnie owns
Ronnie
property
owns
out there. There's a number of people that you were going on property that I'm sure they were more than glad that it was being cleaned up, because they have come to the town at different times because people have dumped tires and
Right.
things on their property.
Well, it's often when you cross
Okay.
that line into New York and you see that turnaround area that's just loaded down there, to do that
I'm
is a
gonna,
big deal.
I'm gonna recognize
Okay, that's okay. Just a
that's-
point though, at the selectmen's meeting, you had a contract with sheriffs. Now, you've cleaned up this road, and I think whoever's in charge of where the sheriffs might go,
Patrol
a
it.
visit down there might help once in a while, just to let people know that you might be throwing something and the sheriff's car might be coming down. It'd be on their run.
So to maintain it.
Yeah, just to keep it, like, you guys take a ride down there once in a while,
Good
just to
point,
see there's
yeah.
somebody's point there, but, there's a new sheriff in town. Let people know.
Throw us under the bus.
Hey, listen, better than town dump, honey.
Transfer.
They gotta cruise through there at about 2 in the morning though, I
Yeah,
think.
and
Well,
to-
I'm just saying, it's,
Yeah.
I don't know when they're gonna be there. but Maybe they'll never go there, but the idea that there might be someone there, there might be
Yeah.
a camera there, who knows? But it's a place that's been dumped on for years.
And there's
Agree.
another property owner that complains pretty regularly that his property's used like that. Well, they throw in my corner up there all the time too.
Yep.
But they're, these are the old dumps of years ago that people threw stuff in. Go up on West Carpenter Hill, what we used to call cold storage, and
Cold storage.
Oh, yeah.
it is a disaster. And that we've sent, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago now, Ron might remember better than me, but we sent trucks up there to the town and backhoes and took dump truck loads out of there. And I mean, many.
Nasty stuff. Well, Indian Massacre used to have a car down there. You remember riding like a Datsun or Subaru or one of
Somebody
those?
took off the road.
Somebody just pushed
So-
it straight
yeah.
down the hill and there it sat.
So anyhow, it was a good initiative.
Yeah,
and
that's
it
great.
was- it was well done. Any other business?
Just a work session.
Well, they-
Just
Okay.
remind us, or just
Okay.
to check our dates.
Okay, so what we have,
Oh,
we're
future
beginning,
meeting.
yeah, future meetings. Because of the work on the town plan, we agreed last month that we'll begin holding meetings twice a month. The first meeting, the first Tuesday of the month will be a working session, so that's just us working on the different pieces of the plan to be presented at the following meeting, for public comment, et cetera. So this is the list of those meetings.
Is
And
any one
it's-
of these scheduled for Natalie to come yet, or?
It's not for Natalie to come, but the next one on the 16th is tentatively scheduled, okay? On the 16th, the last meeting we had, Jim suggested that we contact the Shires to see what they've
Yes.
been able to do in terms of affordable housing. And I had a wonderful conversation with John Broderick.
Yeah, that was a good email.
He is, I called him the week before he's changing job. He said one of his regrets leaving that office is that he was not able to complete a project in Pownal. They made some efforts at various things. And he's gonna try to put together, the person who's, the interim who's filling up his position, but also he wants to come, even though he's still gonna be living in the area, he wants to come and be part of this. And so he would like to, he hasn't cleared the date yet with all the parties involved, but he'd like to bring a group of people currently working at the affordable housing, the Shires, and himself, and present a meeting and that would give an overview of what they've attempted to do, mostly since that Vermont Rural Development Initiative happened here. How far they got on that and some possibilities of how to move forward. And I said, I asked if he would give sort of a specific attention also to suggestions on things that we should put in the town plan in order to facilitate the kinds of things that they're looking at. That would make their job easier, I guess. And so that's tentatively set for the 16th. And as soon as I hear from him, what I think would be well worthwhile, given the content of that meeting, is to invite the selectmen to attend that meeting also, and to publicize it and open it to the public. And encourage people to come, and in that venue, we would then need to find a different place. So if that happens, I was thinking either the elementary school or the Pownal Library, their meeting room, depending.
Sure.
Does anybody have a preference in terms of where the meeting should take place, or should I just?
School would be
I
nice.
guess I would, yeah, I was gonna say, I would ask, I've met down at the library.
Uh-huh.
What I'm looking at is once you get the selectmen and you,
Uh-huh.
you're already up to
Yeah.
16, 17 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you want and I don't know how many will come from
I-
the Shires, because he's talking about bringing people.
Right.
Now
Probably.
you're up to 20
yeah.
some odd,
Okay.
and then
So
the
maybe.
public.
How about the firehouse?
So I'm gonna say either well, we have to try to schedule that with the chief of the fire department, so we can get there, but we've used it before. The
Yeah.
planning board, the DRB has, they're usually
Yeah.
pretty agreeable, and if that didn't work,
The
the school.
Legion is also a place,
Could be
probably.
a place,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah, so, but I would just say that we'll want a place, I think, to hold at least 50 people, not
Okay.
that we get that many, but
Mhm.
I'd wanna,
Okay.
You never know.
it's a topic that, and I think if you held it at the Legion, you'll have some in attendance that can't make it to the school.
Okay. So maybe that would be.
I know, when we get together, we'll just.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of
Okay.
people that have housing questions down there
Right.
that
Yeah.
could walk in.
Could walk to
We'll
the
walk
Legion.
there,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
Just
That's
let me
good.
know
Okay.
where we're going at.
So,
She's got
Okay,
all
so
kinds
as
of-
soon as I know, I'll make arrangements, and then I'll send out a notice, and then we'll create some flyers to promote it.
What do we need to do to prepare for the June 2nd work session?
We were assigned work groups last meeting.
No, we were.
Yeah, we were. If you don't know whose work group you're on,
Maybe the
Julie has
secretary
that.
could review them.
Yes.
Julie will be sending
And-
that out.
No, I have my papers. I already know. Housing was Sid and Bonnie. Economic was Rick and Rose Marie. Energy was Mike and someone.
Nobody, I asked for volunteers, everybody step back.
Flood
We gotta
resilient.
change your deal.
Yeah,
Flood
something.
resilient was Mr. Winchester and I. So
Okay.
the only two that
And
don't
so-
have a job
Mm-hmm.
would be Peter and Ronnie.
So is there a committee you would like to,
I'll hang out with you, Mike.
There you go.
okay,
Got my energy guy.
okay.
All right.
And
Ron?
Ronnie can just observe if he wants.
He can be a utility man. He can float among the committees.
Oh, you want to?
I'm pretty
What's that?
opinionated, I probably ought to be jumped by myself anyway.
Oh, no, 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 no. You got some opinions on economics?
I thought once you left the select board, you were going to change completely, but that's not it. Okay.
So, shall we put you on economics, Ron?
That's all right.
Okay,
So for
I'm
this
not here
next,
for the second, so.
you're not here for the second, okay.
Would these committees actually meet before and present it at the second? Well, would that be the working session for everybody?
The groups can meet prior to that, but
Right,
that
that's what I
time
figured.
would be, so if I could, we could meet
Yes,
ahead of
okay,
time and
okay,
then
great.
present the findings there.
They'll
Yeah.
have to be in a
I think it'd be
subcommittee of
interesting.
this committee with the new
I think
open
it'd be
meeting laws.
interesting.
They'll have to make sure they post where their meeting is in case people want to attend.
Okay, all right. And how many days' notice?
No, wait. Let me
The subcommittee?
wait. Let me go back to our
Okay.
when I do my posting.
Mhm.
When I did it the last time when we broke down to our works groups,
Yeah.
I did it like this. So if we're gonna, let me just figure my verbiage. I can put in a thing that, like, if I post that, like, we're gonna break into subcommittees,
Mm-hmm. These are the subcommittees,
right?
yeah.
But I'm gonna post these at our locations
Locations,
anyway.
right.
So then that way, if it's already, like, if you guys are gonna meet, like, 3 days from now,
Mm-hmm.
that
Somewhere else,
we will
okay.
be covered.
Yeah, they just
And
need to
this
say
one-
where.
By the meeting,
Right.
You have to state where it's gonna be,
Right,
Okay,
so people, if they show up, they can come.
right. So I mean, if you're gonna make it at your house,
Mm-hmm.
then you
Right.
have to let people know that you're going.
and so how do we do that?
Not very easily.
What? Not very easily.
So the other times when we
Right.
had meetings at our houses, that should have been posted.
That
They-
rule-
Which
last
we
July, that rule changed.
It was
the
2
open
years
meeting
ago.
laws.
Those
Yeah.
2 years. I see.
Because when we did it, we broke that we would be at various places.
Right.
But you had
But
us
we
listed.
just,
So-
right, and I had it listed, so I knew where you, we were, so if anybody, but
Okay.
I don't know how to blanket again, so that we're all,
The
cover, you know
question
what I
is
mean?
how many hours you wanna meet, and then, because like you said, there is the library, you can ask, places like that. Here, people usually don't meet until 7 o'clock at night, is that fair to say? Is that- So,
6, 7, yeah.
so there's, what I would do is look at the places where, you know, the public can get into, and then see if you can schedule that way. That way there, if you schedule your meeting for 5 o'clock at the town office, you're here for the 2 hours or whatever, or people can meet in the front while people are meeting in the back, we've done that before.
Three,
split up, you mean?
So, but
Yeah.
if we don't meet at the time and place on this list,
Right.
we have to post it at those 3 locations.
and it has to be 3 days.
That's, okay, 3 days ahead.
3 days
Okay.
prior to your meeting.
And just so I understand, so that would be a work session on the second for
The
this.
second is a work session.
Okay, so
yes.
that's already posted. If we,
So we're not taking public comment and stuff like that then, we're just ourselves
That's gonna be the
working.
only thing on the
Well, you,
agenda.
and you
Right.
could break up into groups, and some could go out there. and
Right.
some
Sure.
could-
well,
Yeah.
that would be the only way to do it,
Right,
if
that's-
we
yeah.
actually have our subcommittees
Right.
already.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there'd be
Yeah, right.
chaos.
We
Because
should,
wouldn't
we
be
should
able to-
come to that meeting with our homework done about what ideas we wanna
The
take from
findings
that.
should be presented at
the
that. That's what I'm
meeting.
trying to understand. Will
Yes,
the
okay.
findings be presented on the second,
Yes,
or will the work be first done then?
I
Be
thought,
first
you
done,
know,
wouldn't it?
I thought we were when we come here on the second, I thought we were gonna work in our little, so that, because we've already done all of this stuff already in our own little groups. So I
Well,
thought when we
I think
come
we're starting
here,
fresh now.
What you-
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
well, that's
this
why I'm
is-
saying.
We had
that-
this figured out. We gotta go back and watch the last Cat TV because we talked about this.
Right.
How this was gonna look.
This is a new
We-
beginning. I mean, I think that's what we're looking at here.
But I thought we were doing it all
along with
together.
Natalie and
Deja
everything.
vu
We
all
were
over again to
doing
me.
we were all gonna come together,
And do one,
One part.
Right, I thought we were gonna do like, when we come on June 2nd, the economic group was gonna have, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Next
We were gonna work
presentation.
on
What
the
did Natalie-
economic.
Natalie
This is it.
suggest
No.
something.
Yeah, and that's what Natalie suggested, that we all are responsible and be working on our sections, but the first section, whatever it is gonna report, and we're all gonna help that committee
Right.
and comment on it, and try
Together,
and narrow
right.
down that section.
So that committee
And then
has
the
to
following-
meet ahead.
And the following work session, 1 or 2 committees are gonna come in and report.
Right,
But
that's
not
why I thought,
7 committees
Okay.
trying
All
to
at one
figure this
time.
out, because then what do you do with the information at the end of the night?
Okay,
Right.
so then the work is done ahead of time, and then those work sessions are actually presentations to the rest of,
Exactly.
of the commission.
Okay.
And is it also a presentation to the public? Therefore, does the public have to be in at that individual work session that preceded that?
It's not that
No.
they have to be there, by law, you have to allow them.
So every part of this
Right,
has
that's
to be
why-
announced like that?
right, that's why I'm
That's what appears,
posting this
yeah.
as it is,
Yeah,
so
I
if
think so.
somebody wants to come in from the public,
Okay.
they can listen to us work on the thing.
Okay.
But the public's gonna have comment anyway when we go to public hearing,
Well, that's my
Yeah.
point.
you know what I mean?
So they're gonna get their chance,
Yeah.
but,
Right.
Yeah.
okay, that's not
But
up
if
to us.
they wanna come here.
That's right.
Right,
When
okay.
we're working on our section,
So,
they're more than welcome to
Remember,
come here.
remember the planning commission doesn't have some of the privileges like the DRB that goes into executive sessions and does stuff in private. The planning commission is an open commission that is there for as much public input as you can get. In fact, you wanna get as much public input as you can. So, behind the door, closed sessions, or the image of that is not what you wanna project. You wanna project openness,
we
you
understand
wanna
that.
project that you are talking about things, if they wish to come, there might be somebody out there that wanna talk about economics.
Mhm.
And if they know where you're meeting, they could give you a call, you could have a number on it, say, call me, and, I'll
Right.
direct you in, and you sit down with them, and who knows what they'll bring to the
The,
table.
each of us, we're gonna kind of work on this ourselves and then bring it together at that time. Pete can be reviewing the energy section at the same time I am. And then when our turn comes up, he and I have to post a meeting or whatever to be prepared to discuss it with the rest of the group. I think is the only way you can do it without
Okay.
it turning in.
Well, you're gonna be discussing with the rest of the group at a pre-scheduled meeting.
Right.
Isn't that correct?
Yeah, but
The first Tuesday.
energy seems to, right, exactly right.
Right, so we know that.
So everybody's gonna be
So-
working and coming up with ideas on that section, reviewing the sections,
But can two people get together and review a section together on public?
or discuss it by
If you
email.
make them a subcommittee, the answer is no, committees have to be warned.
Okay,
But
Okay.
the real thing is that,
Without
prime
quorums.
example is energy. There's
Yeah.
lots of people that are talking about that in town today.
yeah.
They wouldn't wanna hear that you're holding a meeting in somebody's house that they can't come to and talk about it, because they wanna talk about it.
Right, okay.
Great, that's all well and
Okay.
good, we'll get around that, okay? On the first Tuesday, they can come here and
Okay.
talk about energy all they want, all right?
Okay.
Pete and I will be working on energy separately without posting it, okay? I suggest everybody else do the same thing.
Okay.
Pete, if I
So-
see you at the Legion, you have something to say about energy,
Rosemary?
we'll get it
Okay.
posted.
Okay, so I
Sorry.
guess the question on the table now is who wants to be who's the
We
committee
had an
that's
order.
going to present on
In the minutes of the
second?
last meeting, there was an order.
In the minutes are in here.
No, I know, I'm only
But I
kidding.
wrote it on my
Kid-
thing, where is it, how did it?
There are the minutes from last meeting.
No.
My first
Okay.
one was housing,
There's the problem with
economic,
computer.
energy, flood.
Okay,
So,
so housing is first,
Housing is.
and that,
so at the work session on the second, we'll
Second.
be covering housing
Sing-
and housing only,
So when I
we'll be
put
covering housing only, so the people who are doing housing
should be ready.
should be ready. If other people have worked and there's time, they can bring up something else, but housing is the,
I agree.
and that flows nicely into the next regular meeting.
That's right, that's
Okay.
right.
And then at
There's
that
nothing to
regular
say you
meeting,
can't put this on the agenda for
Right.
regular follow-up to the work.
Okay.
Because it's housing, what I would question is, do you wanna have that on the second, or do you wanna wait until after you've heard what Brock has to say, or, Shires now?
Well, yeah, that's one part of it. I mean, people can be working, that's
Yeah.
preliminary stuff.
This is
that
so
we're
far
talking
from
about.
closed, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and finished, that I think we just gotta
We're
get the
not-
ball rolling.
you know, we gotta review the sections that are there, as we've done several times before. We have to start getting our input out there. Whatever he has to say is gonna be pertinent, but it's not gonna change everything that we wanna do in there. So work can be done on it before the 16th.
Okay, so housing is on the second,
Housing presents,
housing presents.
and we all have a
okay.
part in it,
And we all, and we've all,
We all
Have an
know
idea.
nothing, we all know nothing.
and it's
And
all
Chaz is
warned,
gonna
so
come in and
anybody
tell
can
us
come. Anybody can come to talk about housing from the public.
Your
Yes.
board, guys.
I have that on our thing that.
well, if
you
you
have-
want, if you wanna do,
You have some
One at a time.
guidance
Yeah,
okay,
in the current town plan on this.
we do.
we do.
Housing for the elderly is not all of housing.
No, it's not. But we don't really have any expertise, and we're inviting someone that does, has accomplished
And
something.
we heard a consultant,
But
but that
are we
consultant
putting
wants
the-
us to
okay.
put these
Okay.
thoughts
We
out
could sit
first.
around and
Okay,
raffle on
d-
this all night, but
Yeah, what, we can pick a different one,
Sure.
if it makes more sense. Do we wanna do economic?
Well, I'm not gonna be here on the second, so I
Okay.
prefer that we present that together.
Okay, okay, so, what's the other one?
We have energy and flood.
Okay? Do you wanna
So
do?
you wanna wait on housing?
Who's in, yeah, we can start to put some things together for energy.
You wanna do
Okay,
energy
do the
first on
energy
the
one.
second?
Okay, and then we'll do housing on the 7th.
When are we doing our energy? Their chief?
We're gonna talk about it next time.
Yeah, and
Okay.
this will be the initial presentation of it, that doesn't mean it's the final.
Okay, but are we assuming we will have worked on it before these work sessions?
Yes.
And that the
We
committee,
will-
subcommittee
the
will be presenting
subcommittee,
something?
Yes, we'll come with ideas. Yeah.
Some ideas, whatever that means, okay,
Yeah, some
fine.
And you know what? You might all take a look at that section and come in with some.
Well,
Well, we
and I think
should.
that's the
Yeah,
best way to
we
do it. No, I agree.
Yeah.
yeah.
And look at those sections
Pete and Mike,
in
what do
the
you got?
other documents that we were given. You know, that's why we get those other documents, is
We got a
to,
lot of stuff.
yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to read, we
So
can't do it all in
energy
these
is not
meetings.
there.
Have we heard back from Natalie? The ball was in her court. I remember you asking her, and she said yes, she will get back to us. Did you hear from her on a directive?
I sent, hopefully you received it, we talked about this at the beginning of the meeting, that she sent some documents, some plans from other towns, and she sent some documents specifically related to like legislation happening right now, when I asked her a question on the solar.
Well, we discussed that with her when she was here, correct?
And then she sent some follow-up
She
documents.
sent a follow-up to that meeting after she was here?
See, I don't remember seeing.
I don't
any of
remember that at all.
haven't.
Follow up.
I remember the town plans she had sent. We discussed
Yeah.
them while she was here. We discussed
Yeah.
them with her.
No, this is since there was something Rosemary had passed around.
But I don't remember, that's why I'm
What's the
asking, because I don't
commission
remember
meeting?
anything
Was
She
since
that
that
sent the
meeting.
rural community document.
Yeah.
June
You forwarded that on.
2006?
But there was a discussion about the
Yes, maybe.
legislature was still in
In
session,
session,
and
and-
they closed this week, and
Yeah.
there was some things in the energy, and
And I
several
haven't,
things.
I haven't gotten anything from her
No.
since the close of the
So we've
legislative
kinda
session.
left that
Right.
alone until the legislature.
I don't remember.
Oh,
seeing
Julie
anything.
forwarded something from Karen Horn about the siting of solar facilities when the Senate was
It's-
offering
'Cause I
an
don't remember
amendment
seeing
to
anything
H
from
40.
Natalie.
Okay.
Anything
There was
more.
some setback
Anything more
changes.
than that, okay, I
Right.
don't think there was
No, I
anything
think the
more
only,
than that.
only thing I've seen is the Vermont community.
I will
Okay.
go through and
Is it-
and check.
But I am pretty certain she left it that she was going to get back to us on a directive about how we should proceed. She was gonna come up with some thoughts.
No, you're right, and that's why there's some confusion here, and that's why I said we need to go back and look at the last Cat TV, and because there was
It's
some,
on YouTube.
definite.
I forgot exactly what
Okay.
she was getting back to, but you asked her specifically, so the ball's in your court, and she said, yes, the
Yes.
ball's in my
Okay.
court. That was really clear,
Uh-huh, okay.
and we all breathed a sigh of relief. Yeah, okay, we're waiting to hear from
Yeah.
you.
So that may
Okay.
be in the minutes if
And
you
I-
can
Quite
find
fine, I'll just
those.
have my daughter
And
print
I
it
will
out
look
for
and
me.
make sure that.
And then if
there
that
is-
changes what we
Go to
just
YouTube.
discussed, please let us know.
Okay,
As far
Will
as
do.
this
Okay.
work stuff and,
okay,
Look for the planning meeting and you'll see.
all right.
okay, so everybody's gonna be thinking about their section. The energy people are going to present something unless you hear otherwise from me, from Natalie. And, then housing will be in July.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else?
I would say that when people review these, take a look at them early. If you can't make those meetings, let Julie or Rosemary know as soon as possible, with vacations coming up, et cetera. All right.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Wait, there was no motion
I'm gonna
yet.
say I
No.
didn't
Motion,
get it.
so
She wasn't chairman for too long.
No, yeah, he thought I
She
was
made her
making
own
the motion.
motion.
No.
But I'll move the
I'll
motion.
entertain
And
it.
I'll second that.
Okay, there we go.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right.
Sid, where are you?
Thanks, Rosemary.
Sid will be here next time.
Seal this for-
Yes,
I wanna
you can.
see her
Julie,
last
Check
name.
online and find the bill on the energy
I'm
bill.
gonna
we
argue
asked
on the
to do with
second.
solar and forward it on to you.
It just